Yay!
What's happening? What's happening, people?
What's up, people? Everybody's in the chat. I love how the community just having conversations with each other in the chat. I love that. Helping each other out, giving some advice, just a sounding board to bounce ideas off of. I love it. What's up, Trippy? What's up, Daniel, Patrick, Chase, Twin Calibre? Tanner's here. I had a friend named Tanner in high school. Tanner's a very American name. We live in Australia. You might not know that, but I'm just thinking about this now. I've never met any Tanner outside of America. I don't know if you have, Badaki.
No, definitely. I had a Tanner in school.
Yeah, it's an American name.
He was hella country. I remember that.
It's a strong one. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
Tanner, where are you from? I'm gonna guess somewhere in the Midwest. I'm just gonna guess, and I want you to guess, Badaki, as well. So wait to comment, Tanner. But I'm gonna guess that you're from Missouri. But where do you think?
No,
Badaki?
not everyone's from Missouri, bro.
I know that. I'm just making a guess. It's just a game. Where do you think he's from?
I'm gonna say like Florida, Alabama, or something like that. I don't know.
Okay. All right. You had two chances there. Okay. So I just want everyone to know I put one chance out, but Aki put two. Oliver says 23 first and Claypool or Cooper. 23 first and Claypool for me. What's up, UK? What's up, Harry? What's up, Steven? Oliver's here. Jeremy is here. Patrick's here. Ryan's here. Shout out to all of you guys. All right. So Tanner, where are you from then? We got to know now.
Border Missouri.
Daniel says
I'm
Badaki,
on the
your
border
dog is awesome.
of Missouri.
Let's go!
She's in that mood right now where she wants
Bang!
to play.
I told you, bro. He said on the border of Missouri, Kansas City, Kansas.
Next minute, you know Tanner. You just
I actually
like, hey, bro.
I used to live. I don't know if you know, like Platte City. It's a pretty small ass town, actually. It's only like 4,000 people.
Platte? Like a Platte?
But it was next to Barry
City?
Road. It was next to, I don't know. Maybe you know that area. That's where I used to live when I was in high school. What's up, J-Rock? Harry's from Florida. Larry says, is there any dope restaurants that are in Australia that aren't in the States? I'll say this. Thai food in Australia is prime. Like, Thai food, like pad Thai and just anything like that is absolutely prime. But in America,
100%.
it literally tastes like dog food in America.
Honestly, I never had Thai food when I lived in America. It was always Chinese food. If you're in New York or something, it's always like you go to a Chinese spot, like a little spot in the corner.
Yeah.
But the first time I came here, the only reason I had Thai was because one of the girls that I had class with, she was from like some sort of Asian culture, and I was like, I never had Thai. I only had Chinese food. I don't want to have it. And she let me taste chicken pad Thai. Yeah. And that was the first time I ever had it. It was great. Amazing.
It's good. Yeah. The funny thing is, like in America, Chinese food is not like Chinese food is outside of America. Like American Chinese food is very Americanized. Whereas you come to Australia or any of the countries in Asia, obviously it's so different. And I would say as well, they have like this Portuguese charcoal chicken is really massive here. Like charcoal chicken and chips with like really nice garlic sauce, or like chili sauce. It's hard to describe, but it's pretty amazing. Tanner says he's from Leavenworth. Bro, I know exactly where Leavenworth is. Legitimately, I know exactly where that is.
You guys must be friends. This was set up before, guaranteed.
Leavenworth is actually where Michael Vick spent his time in prison, by the way. I don't know if you know that. Little known fact. But I could literally drive to Leavenworth in like 5-10 minutes. I don't know if you know the farm. There's a farm close to Leavenworth. You're coming from Platte City, instead of turning left to Leavenworth, you go straight. And I used to work at that farm. My first ever job was giving pony rides. I would drag it in a circle, and it would literally just bite my fingers. It was the worst job of my entire life. I did it for hours. These kids would ride this pony, and I would be pulling it in a circle, and that little bitch would bite my fingers like 2 to 3 times around the circle each time. It was the worst job ever, and it paid me $6.10 an hour. But I did it because I wanted money. Anyway, I don't remember the name of that farm. What is that farm called? Anyway, no one's gonna know it except for me and Tanner probably. Maybe Tanner doesn't even know it. So anyway, I feel like that's gonna be my story when I'm a grandfather one day. I'm gonna look back and be like, one of my grandkids is gonna be complaining, "Oh, I just got a job. I'm only making $103 an hour, Grandpa." Like, oh, really? Back in my day, my first job was $6.10 an hour. How the times have changed.
Oh my goodness, that was very.
Does anyone know what this channel is about? What are we doing here?
That was very. Yeah, can't say. I probably can't say it on stream.
Anyway. Yeah, this combo did take a weird turn.
We're doing a Dynasty SuperFlex startup with the community here today. If you want to be a part of that, join our Discord. That is in our pin in the chat above here in the chat, or that is in the description below on solo.to/fantasylandfootball. Yeah. We went from
how many people do you think were listening to that story and just decided to just turn the stream off? They were like, okay, well, this is pointless to listen to.
If you want to know my first job, it was Dunkin' Donuts, and I had to get up at 3:00 in the morning, and I worked from 3 to 11.
That's a fire job, though. That's
very first job. It sucked.
I feel like donuts are pretty freaking cool. Like I feel like working at Dunkin' Donuts, you would just get free donuts.
I mean, it's not that.
Come on, you stole some donuts. You got donuts.
It was easier to steal. It was easier to steal like the donut holes than the actual donut.
Yeah, well, that's still a donut, just because it's a hole. Yeah. Anyway, guys, we're doing a Dynasty startup draft. Hey, we have a like goal of 100 likes. Can we get to 100 likes?
You like that? Mm-hmm. You like that?
Well, if you haven't liked the stream yet, you could help us get there. Appreciate the love, the support for the channel. It's been amazing. You guys are awesome. Seriously, it's been so fun to build this channel and build this community together. Dave says his very first job was spraying goose shit off of the walkways at the zoo. That's funny. Duncan is the mid of Starbucks. That's true. That's actually not false.
Yeah, that's a real job. I've seen that job. Like that. Yeah. My friend used to work at a amusement park, and they had somebody that did that. I knew somebody that did that. That's funny.
What's up, Garrett?
What's up, Garrett?
I'm really interested, by the way. We're gonna send the link out in the Discord in a second. So if you are wondering how do I be a part of this mock draft, join our Discord. We will send the link out, and there's some spots left that you can still join. So once that link gets sent, it's first come, first serve. And if you don't make it into this one, Jesus help me. If you don't make it into this one, message us next time. If you've never been into a mock draft before and you want to get into one, message us next time beforehand and say, hey, I've never been able to get into one. I'd like to get into a mock. The one that's happening tonight. Just message us about 15 minutes before that happens, and we'll try our best to get you in. And I'll just say this before we send the invites out as well. Some of you won't get in, and I'm sorry. That's just the reality of the channel growing. I hope that you still have a good time with us, hang out with us, and enjoy the combos and the banter. But I just want to say I'm sorry for those who don't get in, because it will happen. What's up, Garrett? Alan says, smash the like. Dog food for Badaki for letting my trade offer sit for days. What's going on there, Badaki? You not looking at Alan's trade offers in our league?
I said it in the chat that I was willing to get. I'm willing to trade, and I told everyone in the chat, and he hasn't sent me a revised trade. That's all I have to say.
Oh, okay. What's up, Zach? What's up, Kenny? So by the way, we are. I think at this moment we have 2 spots left in our most recent Dynasty startup draft. Okay. So the opening to our most recent Dynasty startup, where you can play with us, you can play with in one of our leagues where we host Dynasty leagues or redraft leagues. I'll put that link there in the chat right now, patreon.com/fantasylandfam. If you're interested in joining one of those, please, before you join, if you have any questions, feel free to message us. If you don't have any questions, go ahead and sign up. There are 2 spots left to join. So, sorry, I just got a random Facebook request. That never happens. I was just like, what's going on?
Facebook? You got Facebook?
Facebook Messenger. I'll look at that in a second. But anyway, if you do want to join one of our startup drafts or startup leagues, please feel free to reach out and ask us if you have any questions. Shout out to everyone who has signed up to Patreon recently. I mean, you guys have been so awesome supporting us.
Yeah.
Long Lake, Benjamin, Fabian, Kiefer, Jacob, Ashley, Josh, Jordan, got Gremlin. Most recently, we had Nicholas sign up. Nicholas Gormley. Shout out to you guys. Seriously, means a lot. But let's go ahead and send this link out and get this thing started, Badaki.
Yeah, I'll put it through straight away. Once again, solo.tl/Fantasyland Football. Go to the Dynasty Dynasty mock drafts. That's where the link is going to go. Here we go.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1. Plays this freaking. It's every time. It actually never fails. Link was been sent out, by the way. Zachary, should I go trade for Waddle? Absolutely. Go try it. See what you can do. Just depending on the value. Don't overpay. In my personal opinion.
Okay, so we're full.
Connor says how much the Patreon per month? How much is Patreon per month?
Yeah, so
you can go for it. Go for it.
Sorry, just quickly. Patreon per month it's $10 per month, and what we tell everyone who signs up is first, before you sign up, you need to know that it is a way that you are supporting us. Okay, you're supporting the channel, you're supporting the brand, you're helping us grow this channel together. So you do need to know that. And so whoever wins each league, they will win all their donations back that year. If you don't win, then your donations will go towards building the channel, building the fantasy land, supporting Badaki and I really as we try and grow this together. So you do need to know that, but also you get a bunch of exclusives. You get the one-on-one chat with us where you can ask us questions. You get our rankings, redraft, dynasty, rookie, and you get things in Discord. You get a bonus live stream in season for Patreon members only, which will be hosted here on YouTube. So yeah, there's a lot to it. Please feel free to message us, but it's either $10 per month or you can do a yearly one where you get 10% off. So feel free to ask us any questions. I think we just got another sign up actually.
Yeah, I think it was Larry.
So Larry Goodman, you're probably on the stream, bro. Appreciate you heaps.
I think this might be one more spot in that league.
I think there is one more spot in that league, so feel free if you want to sign up. But we will message you, Larry, here in a second after the stream. Appreciate you guys. Huge love. So this is a Dynasty SuperFlex startup draft. It is 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, a tight end, 2 flexes, and 1 SuperFlex, 11 bench spots. We'll probably go to round 15. And I'm interested to see where a lot of these players go, like Deshaun Watson, like Michael Pittman now with Matt Ryan in there. Everything that has changed. Where's Devontae Adams, Derek Carr? So much has changed. So this is going to be interesting to see. This is not tight end premium. It is PPR. So let's go ahead and get this bad boy started.
Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah. Thank you so much for signing up. That's awesome. Really appreciate you. Man, it's all happening already.
Why is your Patreon scammy? I don't know what that means. What do you mean by that?
Who said that?
M4G. Do you have any explanation further explanation there? Chase says the one-on-one chat with them comes in clutch for anyone considering Patreon. Super convenient. Appreciate that, man. All right, so Josh Allen at the 1-1, Patrick Mahomes at the 1-2, and now it's going to be interesting to see. Wow. Okay, so Herbert off the board at the 3. I don't want to speak on what's going to happen next. It'll be interesting.
No,
I'm very curious to see how it pans out. We just released a video today about one Deshaun Watson.
Yeah,
I don't know if anyone watched that or what thoughts they had on that.
What's happening?
Let's see what Pookie does. Kenny says just shipped Elijah Mitchell, Keenan Allen, and 209 for Waddle. So there's Deshaun Watson at the 1-4. I've said my piece on that. I guess we'll just turn this off until the quarterbacks go off the board. That noise. Yeah. I've kind of said my piece on the whole Deshaun Watson situation, but I know that you're comfortable taking him here at the 1-4, Badaki.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I'm going based off talent. I think one thing I said on the video, if you guys watched it, I said, look, the situation is different, but the only way I can really compare it to is Jameson Williams. The timeline itself, not the situation, just the timeline. If he were to miss 4 to 8 games, that's kind of the same thing we're thinking about Jameson and I'm willing to, spend a fourth, a 1.4, 1.5, and some people would like to take a Jameson Williams as
Yeah.
early as that as well. I know it's different, positions are different, everything's different, but I think the timeline is really similar and the same, and I'm willing to take that chance.
I just want to quickly address the Patreon scam comment, because I think that is quite serious to call it a scam. We have tried our absolute best to be upfront with everything. I think you could ask anyone who's joined any one of our follower leagues if we've been upfront and honest, and if we've hid anything. I think they would absolutely say no. So I don't think that we're hiding anything. It is, we tell everyone who joins it, hey, it is a way for you to support us, be a part of a Dynasty League, but you are supporting the channel. M4G's comment was, your winnings come from your monthly payments, so you win your money back. You have to commit 4 years to get your deposit back, so you're forced into playing 4 years. You're not forced into playing 4 years. The reason for the deposit is because Dynasty Leagues are only successful, they're only fun, they're only good to be a part of if there's longevity to them. So if you guys do join our Dynasty Leagues, there is a deposit that you do have to pay. You get your deposit back after 4 years, and we've been pretty upfront and transparent about that, but you get your deposit back after 4 years. That's the minimum that you do have to play if you want to get your deposit back. You can stop whenever you want. No one has stopped yet because they've enjoyed it so much, but anyone could stop whenever they want to. But the idea of the deposit isn't for us to keep your money. We want to give that back to you, but it's there. So if you sign up and you're committed to being part of our leagues, hopefully you do want to be there for a long period of time, so we can have a successful league together, so you can have the best experience, so everyone else in the league can have the best experience. So I think we've been as upfront about that as possible. We've never really gone behind anything. So to call it a scam is actually quite interesting when we've actually been as upfront about it as possible. And I think anyone who's ever had conversations about it with us in DMs or anywhere before they've signed up, we've been very, very transparent with that. So again, I mean, you can feel free to DM us with any questions, but I think it's the furthest thing from a scam. And I think anyone who's in here that's watching that is a part of one of our leagues would be able to attest to that. So M4G says there's no details on Patreon. You have to ask, and you're supposed to pay $25 blindly. You don't have to pay $25 blindly. You can read the entire thing, and it explains the tier exactly. What you don't want to do is sign up without reading the tier, because then you don't know what you're signing to. So hopefully you read the tier before you sign up, right? And M4G says, yes, you aren't winning anything but your money back. That's exactly right. You are winning your money back. And we've been very upfront with that, man. I don't know what to say. I'm not sure what to say, but
I think
the people who are in our leagues can speak to how
I
think
it's just not going through the details. Like, take your time, read through the Patreon, let us know what you think. And if you have any other questions, like we always say, send us a message, or you can address it in the chat like you're doing now, which is fine. We're happy to do that.
What I'm not going to allow, though, is for someone to call it a scam, because we've been extremely upfront about our leagues for however long we've been doing them. So I can respect your opinion, but how about just ask questions first, and then we will give you the answers. Cool?
Yeah, no, it's okay. I mean, I think that's good. Ask questions, and if you don't want to be a part of it, then that's okay with us as well. I mean,
yeah, for sure. Again, we've been upfront with everyone who's been a part of them, and everyone has enjoyed being a part of them. So, feel free to reach out with questions beforehand, and that's why we encourage people before you sign up. Ask us any questions that you have about it. Like, genuinely, ask us any questions. We're 100% going to be open and honest with you about any questions that you have. Okay, so all the top quarterbacks are off the board here, and this is what I expect.
This is what makes it hard.
This is honestly what I expect. So from being at the 8 spot, I'm expecting in every league to not have my top quarterback available on the board. And if that's the case, I have been genuinely, Badaki, tossing up between Jonathan Taylor, Jamar Chase, because I'm in this position in one of our leagues, one of our follower leagues at the moment. And I went Jonathan Taylor last time. I built a team around him. I'm going to go Jamar Chase this time. I'm going to see what my team looks like if I lean that way. So, so definitely going to see how this pans out for sure.
Yeah, this is what makes it difficult now, especially drafting so late at the end of the board here. Yeah, it's very interesting. They go Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
Jonathan Taylor falls to the 110. I think this is the latest we've ever seen him fall. Yeah, see, this is just shiza. And I'm always hesitant. Like, should I take a quarterback or should I go for Najee now? I'm gonna try Najee once again and see what happens.
Yeah, and I'll just say as well, like, there's no need to roast anyone in the chat either. You know, I hope I'm not coming off as roasting. I just don't like the word scam. The word scam is quite a big word to use when I feel like it's not. It's kind of the furthest thing from it. So, you know, we definitely want to be a community where everyone's welcome. Everyone is welcome, no doubt. But the word scam is just a really important word that we discuss if it's being used. So anyway, Jonathan Taylor, Najee Harris, Justin Jefferson, and Javonte Williams. Now you're back on the clock here, Badaki.
Yeah. Should I try this? This is so weird. I'm thinking this is what I'm genuinely thinking. I was like, I never do this, but maybe I should. Yeah, I'm gonna try. I never do this, even though he is my tight end one. I'm gonna take Kyle Pitts here. This is why we mock.
Okay.
I am going to see it. You
guys never
know
do
me.
this.
If you know me, I do not like taking a tight end nowhere in the second, third, or fourth round. I'd rather get value later on in the draft. But I mean, now with Malik, potentially could be going to the Falcons or Detroit, whatever the case may be. You just never know. Let me see how this feels.
Okay. I'm actually extremely interested because I've never seen you take Pitts.
No, never. I never have, and I probably still never will. But once again,
just trying
this is why we mock.
I have
need to try
and
it.
I won't.
Yeah.
All right. So then Team 10, I probably feels pretty damn good getting Jonathan Taylor and Trey Lance. Although we do need to have a conversation here about Trey Lance because there is no team that makes a ton of sense right now to send Jimmy G to. And that's a problem. Like, there is no opening that makes a ton of sense to send Jimmy G to right now. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
No, yeah, I get what you're saying, and that could be a concern. Does he try and fight for the starting position? Again, is there a chance that Trey Lance is not QB1?
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that, honestly. I genuinely don't know the answer. And it does make me a little bit worried about Trey Lance because at this point in the offseason, I really, really expected for Trey Lance to be named the starter. Like, you know, Jimmy would have already been on a different team. And now if I have Trey Lance or if I drafted him this early in a startup, man, I'm a little bit worried because we don't really know exactly where he's going to end up being. Is he going to be in San Francisco? Is he not going to be in San Francisco? It's really difficult to say, and that should impact where we draft him because there's been way too many combos around it. I'm going to take Justin Fields here at the 2-5, and I've even been having conversations with myself, Badaki, asking, should I be taking Fields over Lance? I'm not saying that I should or I shouldn't, but I don't know, man. It's a conversation I've been starting to have.
For me, you know me, I think the community loves Trey Lance. What we saw in, the pro day. Well, they didn't have combine, obviously, and there was just so much hype then. We still haven't seen much, and people are taking him as early as a 2-3, which is fine, or early as the 110, the 111. Right. We saw a glimpse of Justin Fields. If you know, he was, I think, if I'm not mistaken, top 3 or top 5 rushing amongst quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. And he didn't even play a full season.
There's definitely a lot to love.
Exactly. There's so much more there that I would rather bank on with Justin Fields. I think the team around Trey Lance is better, and there's so much negative conversations around the Bears organization and Matt Nagy. But let's remember, all those guys are out. Everyone's done. It's a complete reset. But yeah, Breece Hall at the 2-9. Interesting.
Yes, I was going to talk about that. Okay, so Swift goes at the 2-6, then Wilson at the 2-7, A.J. Brown at the 2-8, and Breece Hall at the 2-9. Wow. Mm-hmm. We don't know his landing spot just yet. I mean, he went at the 3-2 earlier, and I thought that was a little bit too earlier. So for me, it feels a little too high right now. That makes him the RB5 without knowing his landing spot, and we're also passing up a lot of elite, talented wide receivers on the board. I don't know that I could do that, but man, I respect the conviction there on Breece Hall. Then CMC, Waddle at the 2-12. You have some thoughts on that, I imagine?
For Breece Hall, yeah. One thing I was going to say was a place that we spoke about just yesterday, was like, a great, and it was just a conversation, like a quick thought process. Oh, Brees Hall to the Bucks, that's nice. Now letting sign an extension. There's literally no place I feel like Brees Hall can go besides the Texans, which is fine. But like, the Texans aren't going to take Brees in the top 5. That's I don't think that will happen. I don't know if the Texans have another first. I feel like Brees can fall out of the first now, just based on
for sure, based off of the landing spots.
Yeah, and everything. Like, what's going to happen now? It's crazy.
MG still going on about about Patreon. Hey man, if Patreon's not for you, M4G, that's fine.
Yeah, I think that's okay.
You don't have to do it. And if you don't see the value in it, don't sign up to it. No one's forcing you to do that. If you'd like to be a part of this channel and just watch the content, just enjoy the content, you can do that. There are some people who enjoy the content, to the point where they want to be a part of the community that way. If that's not you, my guy. And that's okay. Okay. So let's just move on from it, because really, I don't know what we're trying to prove at this point. Waddle at the 212, Debo at the 3-1, Tyreek at the 3-2, DK at the 3-3. I was interested to see where DK was going to go, because to be honest, he was falling to me at the 3-10 1 week ago. So I'm super curious to see your thoughts on that. That makes him the wide receiver 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 off the board, Badaki.
And that feels okay. I actually don't have my rankings up. Give me 1 second. That feels okay, because I think that's where I have him around. I have him, I think, 8, 9, 10. 1 second as it comes up.
Okay.
Right here. Yeah, I have DK 11. So that's pretty close. There's a couple people that I have over him. Like, for example, there's a guy that I know you love that's still on the board that I have over him.
Okay.
So I think this feels comfortable, but I think once we know that true QB there, he can either fall or continue or rise. So we just gotta wait and see what's gonna happen.
Okay. So DK off the board. Let's see who goes here after we take Brees Hall at the 2-9. Oh, is Pookie going to get autoed? Pookie gets autoed, and it's Devontae Adams. The reason we don't redo auto drafts is because this happens in real drafts. So you need to be prepared for this. So Pookie is going to keep Adams there, and we'll see how he builds his team after that.
No. Just to adjust the chat, Travis. You don't believe talent will win out over landing spot? I'm assuming that he's talking about Brees. So I think it definitely can. I think what's interesting about these running backs is, like, you hope that there was a spot that there was a clear path. Now, for example, if Brees goes to the Bills, clearly he's the most talented running back there.
Right.
Well, like, how is that going to work out? When is he going to get the opportunity? Do we have to wait and sit now? Do we wait a year? Does it happen in the middle of the year? There's so many different conversations we can have about that.
For sure. No, I agree. Okay. So this is always the weird part of the draft, isn't it? This is always when it gets a little bit strange. I think I might go quarterback here.
I really wanted Matthew Stafford. I think that's fantastic for Matthew Stafford's value. Matthew Stafford is a guy that I saw it in the chat. Actually, make a pick. There you go. Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
I was going to say Matthew Stafford is a person that I would consider taking over Trey Lance.
Yeah.
And I saw that in the chat, and I agree. Like, Matthew Stafford, Russell Wilson, even Mac Jones, I think I would consider. The only reason why Trey Lance is so appealing is because his rushing upside and that team.
Yeah.
It's just...
I'm not
crazy.
sure I would go that far. We need some clarity first on how San Francisco views Trey Lance, and I'm hoping that we'll get that here before we do some of these startup drafts with the community. But I'm not sure that I would go that far, because I still believe in Trey Lance as a talent, and I love the position that he's in. And none of the guys that you just named, Wilson, Stafford, Lawrence, none of those guys have the rushing upside that a Trey Lance does. So... Malik Willis at the 3-10. That makes him the quarterback 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 off the board.
Where is Sleeper Marcus? We need him.
We do need Sleeper Marcus.
We need that little number next to it.
I know. This is a good idea, actually. Very smart. Steven says, I like DK. If he was an incoming rookie, wouldn't he be the highest? I agree. That's why I still am not fading DK. Because if he was a rookie coming in, he would be the 101 without a question. So I'm not fading DK because the quarterback situation is uncertain right now, right? I mean, I just don't think that that's the wise thing to do. So, Nathan says, thanks for bringing the mocks consistently all week, guys. Some of us out here definitely appreciate the work you have been putting in this offseason. Hey, man, I appreciate that. I really appreciate that. I mean, to be honest, Badaki and I do put about 60 to 80 hours in each week, growing the channel and growing the community. And I don't say that to, like pat ourselves on the back, but I'm just telling you how much we do care about this community. So it's good to hear that. That's awesome.
It goes Hurts.
Clyde to the Chiefs, and he ain't good. Talent wins out halfway in. That's good. It's Dynasty. You think 3 to 5 years out? For sure. I mean, look, situation isn't everything. Definitely not. And I'm not saying I never once said that Breece Hall was the wrong pick of the 2-9. I'm just surprised at where he's going, guys. Joe Mixon at the 3-11, Hurts, Eckler, and now you're on the board, Badaki.
Yeah, man, this is tough.
This
is tough, and this is why I could have had, if I didn't take Najee or Pitts, I could have had Trey Lance and Justin Fields if I wanted to. I could have had Trey Lance, Russell Wilson, whatever the case may be. Yeah. And this is why I struggled going this route when I'm doing mock drafts, because I'm already not happy with my team. I'm gonna go 2 with tags here. I think I need to get a quarterback now until it's too late.
Okay. Yes, Will, this is a mock. Yep. What's up, Tiz? Will Hume says, I'm scared Lance won't start, so I'm drafting Willis at the 1-2. Yeah, you know what would be worst case scenario there, Will, is if Willis doesn't start. That would be painful, wouldn't it? If both Trey Lance and Willis don't start. Quote Nation says 49ers invested too much in Trey Lance to not start him. I agree. I agree with that sentiment, but then also from an organization's perspective, they almost got to the Super Bowl with Jimmy G. So I think they're in this really, really weird place where they know how much they spent. They saw how successful the team was. Man, it's difficult. All right, so then Garrett Wilson at the 4-3. Does he become the first? He is the first rookie wide receiver off the board there, Badaki. Derrick Henry at the 4-4.
Garrett Wilson, a guy that I absolutely love, my wide receiver 1 in this draft. And I think he probably has the best potential of having, he has the best chances of having a good landing spot, going to Green Bay with the Packers or going to Browns with Deshaun Watson now. It's going to be very interesting where Garrett Wilson or Chris Olave will go in the drafts.
Okay, I'm just looking at my wide receivers here. I think I'm going to take another wide receiver. Yeah, and it's difficult for me because it's really between 4 different players. Man, this is difficult. All right, I think I'm going to go Chris Godwin here.
Okay.
Got that long-term contract.
I'm
assuming that Tom Brady's going to play 1 or 2 more years. If he's come back and he wasn't ready, in his mind, he's like, well, I can still play. So I'm going to grab him here as my second wide receiver in the 4th round. There was 3 other wide receivers I was really considering there. So unfortunately, I'm probably not going to be able to get one of those on the return, but that's okay.
No, that makes sense. Drew, you're absolutely right. The Browns did trade away their first. I completely forgot.
I didn't even listen to what did you say?
I was like, I said Garrett Wilson or Chris Olave can go to one of these good teams now that have Aaron Rodgers, now that Devontae Adams is not there, and then
right,
and or the Browns now that
Deshaun
Watson.
A lot of people forget that that they don't have their rookie pick for the next 3 years.
Yeah, exactly. So it's one of these other guys that are going to be more valuable. But interesting. Aaron says 49ers aren't scared to ignore draft capital or play the hot hand. Even goes back to where they played Colin Kaepernick over Alex Smith. Interesting. It could be Garrett. Garrett always falls in the sweet spot, number 1. Number 2, if I don't take Elijah Moore, he's always taking Elijah Moore. That's all I got to say.
So you wish that you took Elijah Moore?
I wish I had a wide receiver for sure. I wish I took Justin Jefferson over Najee. I wish I could have taken a wide receiver where I took Joe Mixon. just so I can maybe solidify those spots. And I think people forget that, people say, oh, why don't take Elijah Moore? You're reaching there at the 311. I have to. I'm at the end.
Yeah.
Like these guys aren't going to come back to me.
Yeah, I feel like he's definitely going to go to you in our startup drafts.
Potentially.
Max said, not sure I'd take any of those rookie wide receivers over guys like DJ Moore, Godwin, Terry, Deontay, and Diggs. Yeah, it definitely depends on, I guess, how you view these prospects. If you really do view Garrett Wilson as a top 12 guy and you think he can produce that, then, make a case for it. There's always this weird tension in dynasty startups between youth and proven production. And almost every time we do a startup draft, there are comments later in the comment section where people are like, this person valued youth too much, or this person, is drafting this player too early because they're too old. Like it's like there's always this tension between those two things. And, I think you can make a case for it, for whichever way that you go, depending on the player. So there goes Deontay, J.K. Dobbins off the board, Treylon Burks, Cam Akers, and Alvin Kamara at the 412. So Treylon Burks goes at the 410. He's falling down a lot of mock drafts. I'm super curious to see where Treylon's going to end up playing this year.
Mm-hmm. It is very interesting. Kind of going back to those wide receivers, if, for example, Garrett Wilson lands with the Packers, I think there will be conversations of some people could take them over, I think this will be a good place for him to go at the 4-3. Aaron Rodgers, he's quote unquote, at least the expectation, he's going to be the wide receiver 1. Why wouldn't you take a shot on Garrett Wilson there?
Because again, there's still this tension between proven production and unknown situation.
Yeah, for sure.
But we don't know if Wilson's going to be going to Green Bay.
No, absolutely.
I don't think he falls that far personally.
I'm just saying, like, hypothetical. Like, if he does go to a team that has a decent quarterback that he can play with for a couple years, why not?
John Smith said, did you see Spiller's 40 time, 4.63? He's going to drop even more in rookie drafts. I did see that, yeah. Mm-hmm. Interesting, man. I mean, Badaki and I have kind of just been trying to explain as well as we can through the rookie drafts and the profiles that we're not big fans of Spiller. So I'm really curious to see because for us, it just confirmed what we thought. Yeah. I'm curious to see if those people who are high on Spiller, if it changes anything for them. Because if you're going to drop Kyron Williams off your board for his 40 time, are you not going to do the same with Spiller? Just throwing it out there. Just throwing the thought out there. So George Kittle goes off the board at the 5-4. Then Kenneth Walker, Michael Pittman. I was hoping Pittman was going to fall to me because that was definitely someone I was considering with my pick there at the 4-5. He didn't fall to me. GG's. It is what it is.
Mm-hmm. Let's see.
Bounce.
Gotta get some people on cue here.
Bounce. Okay, so Diggs goes off the board. Goes. I think I might select my first running back here. And Dobbins is gone, right?
Bobbin like I'm Dobbins. That's right.
Where did Dobbins go? He went to 4-9.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, ETN is available. I'll take that. Thank you very much. So I'll take ETN there at the 5-8. Kelsey goes at the 5-9. London at the 5-10. So Zach is loading up on the rookies. I'll say this. I am comfortable taking a rookie in the first 5 picks. I'm not as comfortable loading up on rookies with these are crucial picks. I mean, the tier that drops every time that you draft, there are tier drops every other pick that you make. So for me, there's a lot of risk here in this startup so far.
Okay.
Wilson, Waller, McLaurin go off the board. I was hoping that McLaurin would fall to me at the 6-5, but again, I hope too much, unfortunately. Hey guys, there's 84 people watching. That's insane. Thank you so much for joining us.
All love.
If you haven't dropped a like yet,
you like that? You like that?
It would mean a lot to us if you could do so. Support the channel, support the boys. Thanks for hanging out tonight.
Yeah.
Like goal of 100 likes. Honestly, we could probably get there with the amount of people that are watching. We definitely don't have this many people normally watching. So thanks for joining us. You're on the board there. Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Yeah, my first wide receiver there. I'm okay with that. I solidified my young quarterbacks, I guess, in Tua and Zach Wilson, and getting my first wide receiver in Amon-Ra. It's okay. It's hard drafting at the end here.
Yeah. No, I definitely get it. I definitely get it. Okay, so Carr goes off the board at the 6'4". I think that is fantastic value.
Mm-hmm.
I genuinely do believe that is fantastic value. And now it's really between a couple players for me here. I'm just going to double check my rankings real quick.
That's fine.
Okay, so if I don't make this move, I am pretty confident Jerry Jeudy will not fall back to me. So I'm going to take Jerry Jeudy here at the 6'5". I don't think there's a way he would have fallen back to me at the 7'8", so I'll grab him there. I like Jerry Jeudy. I obviously love, the projections of his future with Russell Wilson there. It's something that I think we all know that Jerry Jeudy now has Russ, but I think we're all maybe undervaluing him a little bit because we keep talking about this wide receiver room that's there, how many weapons there are. I don't know. I mean, I still think that we're probably undervaluing Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton at the moment, to be honest.
Nah, absolutely. Just addressing the chat. David said, would you have wanted more for Pittman if he had Ryan as QB? Yeah, I would have tried to get a lot more. Absolutely. But I'm okay with what I got. I was talking to Zach before the stream, and it's just like Matt Ryan is not the long-term answer in my head. So like maybe he does have one good year and maybe he does finish in, top 10, top 12, whatever the case may be. He kind of projects for the 1 year, but then I think it's just going to go back down what we thought potentially.
You know what's so weird about that is Michael Pittman. Can we all agree that Matt Ryan is an upgrade from Carson Wentz for Michael Pittman?
100%.
Okay, so his situation got much better this offseason. But now we're more worried about him? Come on.
I'm not more worried. I'm still the same. I'm just thinking that, if I'm a Michael Pittman owner, it's just the long term is that like I think he's going to fall below that where he finished this past year, which was wide receiver 17.
At the same time, you can't
that's just my thought process. I'm not devaluing
I don't think,
him.
Well, let me just explain. I don't think that you can devalue Michael Pittman because Matt Ryan might only be there for 2 years. I mean, we were questioning Michael Pittman with Carson Wentz. They figured it out. Teams can always make trades and upgrade the quarterback position or move to a different quarterback. So, I mean, it's for me, I still feel confident in Pittman. I think at the 5'6", it feels really, really good.
Yeah, 100%.
I would take 2 years. I would take the next 2 years of Matt Ryan over Carson Wentz. So and after that point, I think they can figure it out again like they have. It's so
for sure.
I'm more confident in Pittman today than I was 3, 4, 5 days ago, personally.
No, absolutely, and I get what you're saying, and I think that's why this is why I'm thinking, because I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, there was a thing that Adam Schefter or whoever said that in reality this Matt Ryan deal is 1 year deal,
right,
and they can move on from Matt Ryan after this 1 year and then try to find a rookie quarterback. That also depends on how they go in 2022, how many games they win. Like there's so many different scenarios that can happen. And another big thing is maybe them bringing in a wide receiver could either help him because it gets him more targets or it can hurt him. So I'm just trying to have the conversation of like, I'm not saying I'm devaluing Michael Pittman. I'm saying maybe he won't be the long-term answer in the next 2 years.
For sure.
And like in 2 years from now, I could be like, no, I don't know, Michael Pittman. And that's why I'm trying to think about, I'm trying to project. I'm still down to have Michael Pittman on my team. And like, you got him at the 5'6" and Garrett, I think that's fantastic for sure.
I think sometimes the dynasty community falls into this trap of looking too far into the future. Let me ask everyone, and you, Badaki, could anyone have guessed what any of these teams would have looked like 1 month ago? I mean, the NFL is constantly changing. It is constantly evolving. So really, you have to ask yourself, do you believe in Pittman as a talent? I think Matt Ryan really helps him. I believe in him as a talent. But the thing is, we've already seen Matt Ryan produce multiple wide receiver ones. Not just one year. It's been multiple years, multiple different players. So I'm not saying that Pittman's going to be top 12, but I do think top 15 is a real possibility for him, you know?
Yeah.
And then they can figure it out after that, you know? I mean, it's
100%.
situations change. And if we focus too much, you know, on, well, this, you know, the quarterback's going to, you know, be different in 2 years. I think that myself, I think we all kind of fall into this trap sometimes where we focus a little bit too much on that. You know, we've all been people who have done that. And I'm not saying that your opinion's wrong. I'm just bringing a different perspective.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. So there's just so many different ways that you can kind of see it through or think about it.
Yeah.
I guess it's kind of, once again, so many different things, you know, like we
For
can
sure.
say that with so many different other people.
For
You know,
sure.
we can say that with Amon Ra. We can say that with, you know, Kadarius Toney, whatever the case may be. Obviously, every situation is different. It's just a conversation.
Yeah.
It's interesting to have.
Definitely. No, I agree. Josh Jacobs at the 6'9", Devonta Smith at the 6'7", Saquon before that, then Pickett, Mitchell, Chubb, Jameson Williams, Ryan Tannehill, Chris Olave, Zeke Elliott. Olave at the 7'3".
This is pretty early. We're seeing Zeke go. I mean, in a while. Zeke's usually
Yeah,
going in the
typically
10th,
he's not going that early, is he?
like 9, 10. Yeah, this is pretty early now for Zeke. But
I'm very curious what Pookie's wide receivers are going to look like here in this draft. D-Hop at the
That's
7'5". And by the way, I don't think that
Garrett.
I'm going to change it to 30
Garrett has
seconds.
my team. Garrett has the people that I want, and he knows it. Garrett with the hacks.
I'm going to change it to 30 seconds on the clock here soon. But I just want to say, like, I don't view Carson Wentz as Matt Ryan as this true needle mover for the team. I'm just saying for Michael Pittman, I think it's a much more consistent option for him in Dynasty right now. Okay. Oh, is Hollywood still there?
No, he's not. I'm on my cue. Chill out, bro.
Chill out,
the wide
bro.
receiver.
I'm going to go Hollywood here at the 7'8". Love me some Hollywood, 24 years old. I mean, in the first 6 weeks of the season, he was a top 5 guy. And then Lamar kind of had some injuries as well as him. So I like Hollywood as my 4th wide receiver. I'm more than comfortable with that.
Yeah, now I got to go wide receivers. Here.
We never grade your picks. So what is the thinking of taking Wilson over Carr? Wilson over Carr.
That's on me. Yeah, Garrett, Zach Wilson. The rushing
That's actually
upside.
a good question.
For me, I think it's a rushing upside. 1 second. Let me just make my pick really fast. Because even though he didn't have... Wait, can I... I'm going to go Mike Evans because I truly need a wide receiver, and I'm struggling right now. For me, I think it's a rushing upside, and I do believe he's going to be mobile. I think this offensive line is fantastic. One thing about Derek Carr, he does get Devontae Adams. I'm not saying Devontae Adams is not going to make him better. I think Derek Carr can go up 1 or 3 spots total, in my opinion. But I have to see it. And it's kind of the same. I'm taking a chance with the younger team, even though I just drafted Mike Evans. You know,
I guess the way I viewed it was that you were probably making a decision based off of the team construction that you wanted.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's.
I didn't know if
thing.
you believed in him as a talent over.
I believe. Hold on, I need to make another pick here. I'm just gonna go Mooney here because I need another wide receiver as well. I do believe in Derek Carr and what can happen. I think. I don't want to say that I don't see Devontae Adams making Derek Carr better because I do.
Right.
There are going to be growing pains with Derek Carr, and I think the hype right now around Derek Carr is too much for me to take him. Well, too much for me to take him as high as some people have taken him. Like some people took him in the 4th. I've seen him go in the 3rd once. So, I don't know, man. That's the best way I can answer it. It's just that it's team construction, and I like the rushing upside of Zach Wilson and the team and where the direction that team's going.
Yeah, Max makes a good point. Wentz had a few bad decisions that got blown up on social media, but he only threw 7 interceptions. That's very true. I think from the Colts' perspective, it's just when those mistakes were made, it really impacted the team, long term. And I was actually really interested, Badaki, to see where Lenny was going to go. I kept waiting for Lenny to go off the board after signing this 3-year deal in Tampa.
He's still available.
And I really expected him to be off the board by now. That would make him 1, 2. It's going to auto pick for me, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, RB 25. And I guess that makes sense. Like, I guess that does make sense now that I'm looking at it, but I don't know why. I kind of feel like this is really good value. Maybe I'm overreacting, but I felt like that was great value for him there at the 8.5.
No, for sure. It looks like he's going to be the clear back. It will be interesting to see what this team does if they draft a running back, like a pass catching back to kind of complement with Leonard Fournette in a way, because Ronald Jones is not there anymore. At least he's a free agent. Keyshawn Vaughn is there. It just really is really interesting. But the 3-year extension.
We have to keep in mind, Lenny was leading the league in targets.
In targets, exactly. So like
point.
Yeah, it's just so interesting. I think I'm comfortable taking him there at the 8.5 though.
Yeah.
3-year contract extension.
All I want you to tell me is that I made a good pick. That's all. I just want the validation.
I want my opinion. 27 years old. That's the scary part.
That is the scary part. You're not wrong. No, I don't disagree. A lot of wide receivers off the board aren't making Kirk money. Yes, but they are. I don't want to disrespect Kirk. I don't know. I don't want to disrespect Kirk. I just don't think I would take Kirk over any of these guys that have gone off the board.
Quotes from a team source on Malik's pro day. He made some real money today.
Did he? I mean, dude, the arm talent was always there, and he's going top 10. Sure. He's going top 10.
I mean,
he will go top 10.
Malik, yeah, he makes every team, I think, better. And like he can make these guys. I don't know. It would be interesting.
Yeah. All right, so we see Bateman. Bateman at the 8.8 is pretty damn good value, I have to say. Then Clyde, Aaron Jones, Damian Harris. I'll just say this. For anyone doing startup drafts, don't avoid Bateman because you haven't seen it yet. Okay? Look at the last couple games that he had of the season. And I know it wasn't Lamar, but to me, he's proven that he has top 24 upside. And I'm not fading Bateman. I'm just want to encourage him out there. If you're kind of iffy about Bateman, go grab Bateman in the 8th round if he's available.
Yeah, I like Rashad Bateman more. That he was one of our top guys coming into the league this past year, and then he gets hurt. It was kind of deflating because, it was just really deflating. But great talent. I love Rashad Bateman.
Clyde says, it is fun watching these mock drafts. Keep up the good work. Always an interesting twist on opinions and views. Thanks as always. Appreciate that, Clyde. Cameron says, you literally can't be worried about his age at his price. Top 10 running back season incoming. I tend to agree there. I guess in my mind, Fournette, it was the best running back value at that point. And if I need to pivot, I can hopefully pivot if I'm not a win now team. If Lawrence and Fields don't really work out, I can kind of figure out a pivot there. We're all kind of taking, different strategies here as we go. Okay.
My team's shit, honestly. I hate it. I should have just went my usual route. Please. Every time, man.
Hey, how much did it scare you seeing Lenny Fournette in
with going to the Patriots and visiting?
Yeah. How much did that worry you?
Very.
I'm gonna take Claypool there. At the 9.8, he's my wide receiver 5. Where's Mariota in your rankings now? We haven't properly looked at that just yet, have we?
No, I haven't looked at it. I don't think he's gonna move up significantly. It just really depends on what happens in the draft. If no one gets drafted to the Falcons,
is very important for his value.
Then it can be interesting. Then we can have a true conversation. But the expectation is that he's going to be a backup to a rookie or whatever the case may be. That's the thought process for me. That's what I'm thinking about.
If they don't draft someone, I will have him ranked much higher. And I think that's just because of the rushing upside. And if he even proves to be, serviceable, maybe they stick with him if they don't have a spot to get a good quarterback next year. So the thing is, if Marcus Mariota starts every game, then he does have a chance to be a top 12 quarterback this year just because of the rushing upside, the way that he plays the game. So if he is a starter and there's anyone who comes in, I feel okay with him. All right, so Claypool goes, then Robinson, Dotson, Stevenson. You took Stevenson, Rashad White, Christian Watson's off the board, and now you're on the clock.
I'm going to take a guy that we just did a video on, and I'm scared. But if he does pop off, watch the video. That's all I got to say. Watch the video. I think that's probably the best value I can get a great value for Juju to get him in there at the 10th.
I like it.
Especially with Patrick Mahomes. So
yeah, I like that value there for sure. Did I convince you at all with my take? You guys haven't heard it yet. We'll have a Juju video out here soon. Did I convince you with my take?
It's not. Once again, I wasn't disagreeing with you.
Yeah.
I was just saying I just need the security.
Right.
And that's what I need. And if I had that security, I would be taking him where I took Mike Evans in the 7th. Knowing that he's going to be there for a long. Yeah, I can't talk anymore. Watch the video when it comes out. Maybe release tonight. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. I think I need to grab a tight end here. I'm gonna grab Goddard. I don't like having any Eagles on my team, but I'll do what I need to do.
That is Goddard. I'll trade you Kyle Pitts. Give me 3 first.
Chris said team looks completely different if you start Jefferson, Pitts, Hurts, Tua, and Wilson.
Yeah, 100%. And I'll probably feel a lot more comfortable if I would have taken. That's exactly what I said after I took Najee. I was like, I should have took Jefferson.
Yeah.
And then I probably would have had.
This is why we mock.
Exactly. I could have had Jefferson, and then I could have had Elijah Moore or Tua or Deontay Johnson. I would have been a lot more comfortable with any of those guys over Najee. So this is why we mock. I have the 11 spots in two freaking our Dynasty startup leagues with our followers, and it's just so annoying.
Jeremy says
I'm going to have the same team.
Jeremy says if Tannehill is a quarterback, A.J. Brown is going to be in trouble. He ain't it. Well, I don't think he's it for the playoffs, but I think he's enough to produce a top 5 year for A.J. Brown. I mean, look at his points per game when he's healthy.
Come on.
I think there's enough there to produce a top 5 season for A.J. Brown, especially if I feel like Robert Woods is like the perfect distraction piece for A.J. there. He, to me, feels much better as a complementary piece for A.J. than what Julio could ever be. So we'll see. Daniel says, obviously landing spot will be a big factor here, but just based on pure talent, would you rather have Olave or Jameson Williams? For me, Jameson Williams. He's actually my wide receiver 1 in this class. So I would definitely prefer him. I think he is a very, very good route runner, and the speed is not something that you can teach. It's not something that you can really find in this draft outside of him and maybe one other player. So for me, he's a type of player who, after the catch, he can score on any given touch. So for me, it would be Jameson Williams, although I do have Olave as my wide receiver 3, so I am still very much an Olave lover.
Yeah.
Daniel Jones at the 10-6, Badaki.
Talk it up, baby. Come on. The future right here. Danny Dimes, he will sign a contract extension. And he will win a Super Bowl.
Is that early for you, though?
Come on.
I think there's no one else available that maybe I would take. There's maybe 1 or 2 people I would take over him. I see one person I definitely would take over him.
Right.
But I think you could have got him a lot later for sure.
Right. Okay, so McBride goes, then Fant, Sutton, Kyron, Mike Williams, James Cook, Gabe Davis, DJ Chark.
Trippy, I'll message you. How about this? Everyone that has sent me a trade offer, because I did send a message, I told people that I was going to sleep on it, and which was last night. So now I'm going to respond to everyone. If you are in here in one of our follower leagues, I said I want a 2023 first because I want to start. I feel like I can't do anything at the 11. That's how I genuinely feel. So maybe I want to invest in the 2023 first, and I'm willing to trade any of my picks. It can be a 23 first in a package, 23 first and a third, and maybe you want my first and whatever the case may be. Send me something, and I'm willing to have a conversation. I will have a conversation with everyone after this live stream. I will message every single one of you because I got like 10 of them in there now. Everyone is trying to get some draft picks.
Right.
My 11th spot.
Travis Gordon says, "What about the strategy? Always draft best player available and then make trades to get your starting lineup set. We're 150 plus days until the season starts." He says, "I see you two are usually worried about getting the correct positions. I don't think necessarily we're worried about getting correct positions. For me, my strategy is very much get elite wide receivers at the beginning and then try and find running back steals later down the road. I do think it's very important to get the quarterback position within the first 2 rounds. Otherwise, you're going to find it really, really difficult to build around that quarterback room. And the other flaw there is that, I've heard that quite often, but how easy is it for you guys to trade in leagues? For me, trades can take multiple weeks, multiple counters back and forth.
Yeah.
So it's not as simple as saying, just make the trades. Just make the trades and make it happen. If you're in a league where people are always trying to get the best in their trades, which hopefully you are, right? It's not as simple as just saying, well, just make the trades to get the players that you want, because then you're probably going to have to make trades that you might have to end up being a loss at in order to fill positions. So it kind of goes each way a little bit, I think. And also then you have to find the perfect team that you want to trade with to get that position that you need in return. So for me, I'm not so focused on a position other than I always try and get elite wide receivers early and find running backs late. So that is very much something I'll do in every startup, I guess, if that's what you mean. I do definitely seek wide receivers early because I do think there's a massive tier drop, and wide receivers are so important to the longevity of my league. And it is like, if you're going to go, this is just my opinion, but if you're going to go running backs early, I think it's much easier to trade for running backs than it is to trade for wide receivers. Young, elite wide receivers in the trade market, they're much more difficult to acquire, at least from my experience, than let's say, a running back like a Fournette, or a running back like a Kareem Hunt, or James Conner, or an Aaron Jones, or Josh Jacobs, or a Chubb, or a Mitchell. To me, in my experience at least, it's been quite more difficult to go out and trade for an Elijah Moore, or a T. Higgins, or a Metcalf, or a Burks, or a DJ Moore. The value placed on them in the trade market is typically, just in my opinion, again, it's a little bit harder to get those. So I guess that's the reasoning. I always prefer to start my dynasty leagues with elite wide receivers at the beginning, and as well as some quarterbacks that I can trust. And then from there, I try and find running back steals. I don't know if that helps maybe explain my position a bit.
Sense. It definitely makes sense. I mean, my biggest thing is to just get quarterbacks early. That's why I value getting a top 6, a top 7 pick, so I can get at least one, foundation in the quarterback, because I do find them so important. And then I can kind of go from there. And I'd rather not take, like I always say, I'd rather not take a tight end early. Like Kyle Pitts is a great position, but I don't know. I think I agree with Zach, though. That's all I got to say.
So I'm going to take a chance on, an RB late. Again, I do typically like to wait on RBs and take shots on them later on. Draft capital could really change where Jerome Ford goes, but he is my RB3 in this class. So I'll go ahead and draft him here. And if we were doing a draft today, let's hope that the draft capital is there, I'm just catching up with chat. Alan says his 23 first is gone. Justin says, agree with the elite wide receiver. Johnny Applesauce, I love the username, says Mariota in Atlanta or Baker in Seattle. Mariota in Atlanta. I feel pretty strongly about that one. Baker, he's had weapons and he's not produced. Jeremy agrees. Steven says, divide trades between fair and compelling. A fair trade might be even, do you want 4 quarters for $1? Right. Unfortunately, it doesn't always go that way, does it? Davis
No,
AD,
no.
Mills ADP is going to shoot up over the summer. Definitely agree. Compelling
100%.
is when I get a piece I really want. I definitely agree. I value the longer career span. I agree, Jeremy. Travis says, I usually see running backs are way harder to get in trades. I'm trying to get Lance 2-1 in my startup draft. I traded away my first pick. Well, Travis, the reality is I can't speak for how your league values running backs. You might be right. And that's why Badaki and I always say it's very important to know your league. It's very important to know the people that you're drafting with and the positions that they do value. I can only speak on behalf of the leagues that I'm in. And in my experience, it has been really, really difficult to trade for elite young wide receivers, whereas running backs feel easier to move. But yeah, we don't know the league that you're in, so you could be right with your league in particular. That was something that you said about a year ago on our podcast, 2 years ago when we used to do the podcast. You were like, that's the most important thing is knowing your league. When you do startup drafts, you need to know how people draft and what they prefer, because then you can kind of take advantage of that, whether it's the opposite strategy or getting players before they do.
Yeah, there's so much that you can do, and you can trade him away. Zach did that to me. He drafted Elijah Moore, and he knew that I wanted him, and we traded him to me. I did the same thing with a guy. A guy did that to me as well. I want to say Saquon Barkley when he first came in. He drafted him, and then I traded away. I traded for him. I gave him the world. There's so many things that you can do, and you can manipulate people. So it's just interesting on how you can go about it.
Yeah.
Tribute says, I just got to the chat, so I think I should have us in the chat rate you guys as teams, like after Scove is rated, then Zach rated the team, and then after right.
You guys to be honest, I mean, you guys can grade our teams whenever you want.
Yeah.
If you look at our teams, while we're grading, you can say, Zach, your team's an F-. You're trash at this.
Yeah.
You guys can definitely send your thoughts through. I mean, there's definitely drafts where we finish and we're like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, like this draft for me, like this doesn't feel good at all in my opinion.
I'm gonna take Donovan Peoples-Jones here. I feel like it's really good value. I am worried. The big kicker here is, what if Will Fuller comes in? Because if Will Fuller comes in, Donovan Peoples-Jones, he does not emerge. That's just the reality for me. So if he doesn't come in, I feel like Donovan Peoples-Jones has a good chance to emerge. So I'm going to take him here at the 13.8. Again, I only have 3 running backs, but I'm okay with that. That's kind of how I roll in these startups. I might look for a 4th later on, but I see more value in the risk reward here with a DPJ. Hey, how far is Jalen Weidermeyer's stock going to fall, by the way, after his pro day? I've heard reports. There's someone who was at his pro day who said Weidermeyer's not getting drafted. Not he's going in the 5th round, the 6th, 7th round. Someone said he's not even getting drafted after that pro day. Did you hear that?
No, I haven't heard it. I haven't seen
Crazy,
that
man.
yet. But I saw how he ran and all the talks around it, but I haven't heard that specifically.
It's insane.
That is crazy though.
Mm-hmm. All right, Brian Robinson, OBJ, stacking up on Rams wide receivers, Alan says. Patterson, and then Jimmy G. By the way, guys, 73 people watching. We currently have 67 likes. You guys are amazing.
You like that? You like that?
Do you like that? Really appreciate the
that?
support, guys. All right, Justin Ross there. So round 15 will be the last round, and then we will do draft grades, okay?
Yeah. Take Alec Pierce there.
Alec Pierce. I was hoping Alec Pierce would fall to me.
Brown's going to grab a wide receiver, 2 from somewhere. Absolutely. I agree with you, Chris. They have a 2nd round pick, if I'm not mistaken. They had their 2nd round in this year. I do, and I think I said that in the Deshaun Watson video, that I won't be surprised if I see a Christian Watson, a David Bell, a Sky Moore, one of those guys in the early 2nd go to the Browns, and those guys skyrocket and go to the 1st. I mean, we saw Christian Watson go in our rookie mock draft in late 1st for the first time this week.
Yeah.
And that could be something we can see. You know, like one of those guys goes to the first with Deshaun Watson. Yeah.
You know, looking back, I probably should have gone Albert. Oh, are you okay?
Albert, are you okay?
But I really like Brevin. I think that he could emerge this year. So I'm happy to take a risk on him there.
Talk
Kenny
it up,
Galladay
Spartan.
at the 14-8.
Woo! That's some love, baby. Talk it up.
Let's
Let's
get
go.
roasted.
I love Kenny G.
Scuba says Browns have considered bringing back Landry. They've shown interest in Fuller. Would love to see it happen for
Absolutely.
DPJ though. Right. Appreciate you, Justin. Thanks for coming, man. Thanks for joining us. Dave says Hutch is going 1, Hamilton 2. So the draft is going to be very vastly different than previous years. I'm still not sold on Hamilton going 2. The only reason I say that is because of positional value. I have no idea what happens after Hutch. I genuinely don't.
Yeah. I mean, this conversation's Hutch probably won't even go first. That will be O'Neal or somebody else. But
Right.
I don't know if that has changed lately.
Travis says, are you going to do any mocks that are 15 plus rounds? So many end, but dynasty drafts are 25 plus. I would love to know some second half draft strategies. It's a good point. It's just difficult with the time restraints that we have, as well as keeping everyone here who's a part of the mock, you know, because at that point, if we actually did a full, like dynasty startups, you're right. They're long, man. I mean, they can last 3-4 hours depending on, I mean, some people have massive leagues and they can even last, you know, days if they do the slow draft or whatever that looks like. But we might do that. We might do that soon.
I wouldn't mind that as a video potentially, you know, which we do. We have done videos like late round sleepers or guys, late round value guys, 10 round and plus.
Should we make a video where we do late round sleepers? Would you guys like that? Would you like to know players that go in after the 15th round that we consider values? Because we've done ones for after the 10th round. So we can definitely do after the 15th round, but kind of similar to what Steven says here, you are definitely taking, a lot of it is taking your guys, you know, guys that you really believe in. I mean, last year in the pre-draft process, I remember Badaki and I both, to be honest, we were both higher on Mitchell than Trey Sermon. And, you know, we hit on that one. That's fine. Like, there's definitely things that we missed on as well. But I was able to get Elijah Mitchell in, like, the 17th round of one of our startups. So it is very much like, what are the guys that you believe in that others don't? Whether they're rookies or whether they are players who haven't proven themselves that you liked as prospects. So, I typically, to be honest, from 15th round onwards, the strategy for me is, where's the upside? I'm looking for upside. Unless I'm a win now team. And then I'm looking for the guys who have proven themselves. You know, like Adam Thielen, for example. Yeah, he went at the 14-11. That's just crazy.
Steven goes, I took Todd Gurley in the 27th round the other day because why not? That's
Todd Gurley, I love it.
Why not? You know, you never know. He can come back. He probably got some surgery on his knees. Maybe got some new knees. He can come back in the league. That's why you draft him in the 27th.
I'm going to take Beatty here. I'll take Beatty as my 4th. Is that my 4th running back? Yeah, I'll take Beatty there. Who knows if he even gets drafted. Oh, and Njoku's a fantastic pick.
Wow, that's great. I did not see that.
That's a fantastic pick.
I mean, why does it matter? I got freaking Kyle Pitts. Joke's on you, kid. You want Kyle Pitts, bro?
I have him in every dynasty league I'm in except for one. I'm upset I don't have him in that one. Going to love the upside of my pick here at the 15th, Alan said, and it was Njoku, and we loved it. He was right. He was absolutely right. Travis says, I want to know late round strategy. Like, when do you know handcuffs for your quarterback and or running back, or just go all tight end running back sleepers or something else? Honestly, in this format, Travis, I personally don't draft quarterback handcuffs. I think there's definitely validity in drafting, you know,
like
backup wide receivers and running back handcuffs, or tight ends that you see validity in, but like talent and upside in. But as far as quarterbacks go, I really would only have about 4 quarterbacks on with this sort of lineup, where I can only start max 2 at my quarterback in my super flex spot. I personally would only have 4, unless there was just a ton of value and I kept getting him where I wanted to get him. And the only reason I say that is because it's less likely that a backup ever becomes relevant in the league. And to be honest, let me ask you guys, how many of your leagues was Trubisky, Marcus Mariota? How many in your leagues were they on the waiver wire? And how many of those leagues were they dropped throughout the season to the waiver wire? So sometimes it's hard when a quarterback's not in position, because a lot of people do drop them. And again, this does depend on how big your leagues are. If your guys' benches are like 25 players, that's different. We don't like to play with that big of a bench, just because then there's really no purpose for the waiver wire. But
I think
it's a good point. We can definitely do a mock draft where we go beyond the 15th round.
Yeah.
All right, Badaki, do you want to start us off here with Dynasty with the draft grades?
Yeah, absolutely. Team 101, Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers and Carson Wentz, Jalen Waddle, Deebo Samuel, Jameson Williams, George Pickens, Gabriel Davis, and Shakira. Ooh. Alvin Kamara, Nick Chubb, James Cook going to the New York Football Giants, Chase Edmonds with a 2-year contract with Miami. That's kind of interesting. Pat Frymuth and Hunter Henry. I actually like this team. This is a good team. Okay. Yeah, I love Waddle and Deebo. That's nasty. Kamara and Chubb. That's nasty as well. Your quarterbacks are nasty. This is a good team. I actually really like it. I like the young talent as well. And Pickens and Jameson, a guy you can wait on. Pickens comes in, maybe becomes a wide receiver 1 on the team. Maybe you have 3 wide receiver 1s. Very, very interesting. Gabriel Davis as a wide receiver 2. If I had to nitpick, if I had a nitpick, I mean, are you taking Jameson over Amari Cooper? I'm asking you, Zach.
It depends on landing spot.
Depends on landing spot. Anyways,
but I think I would take
really
that
answer
shot.
That question.
I think I would take that shot because of
once again, just nitpicking. I'll probably take Amari because the thought process, maybe Hollywood Brown, just little things like that. But I really like this team. I'm going to give it A-. That's how much I like this team. Okay. I'm okay with the tight ends as well. Surprising.
Okay, A-.
Yeah.
All right, team 2, we have Pat Mahomes, Ryan Tannehill, Jameis Winston. Our running backs are CMC, Akers, Mitchell, Harris, Hubbard. Hubbard is he keeps falling. Like that is, I feel like that's really good value. 15th round to me. Mm-hmm. I'm more than happy to take Hubbard there in the 15th. Earlier he was going in the 12th. Now with the signing of Deonta Foreman to that 1-year deal, I think he's going to probably fall into the 15th, 16th, 17th rounds of your drafts, which take a shot on him at that point. Wide receivers are Tyreek Hill, DJ Moore, Mike Williams, DJ Chark, Ron the Don, and Adam Thielen. Tight end is Knox. So, this sort of draft definitely goes against the way that I draft typically. I don't typically focus on running backs early. I focus on them late. And the only reason I say that is because now, outside of Tyreek and DJ, I do like Mike Williams, but everyone after that are kind of players that I would prefer to have as my wide receiver 5s rather than my wide receiver 3s and 4s. So your running back room is extremely strong. You're definitely going to win games with this squad, but the long-term wide receivers on this team, I do worry about that. So I like the Knox pick there at the 9-2. Super interested to see how Knox and OJ Howard are going to be used together. So maybe we should really be considering that a little bit in these startups. But again, I'm pretty sure OJ was only a 1-year deal. Correct me if I'm wrong. But for me, I think it's a difference of philosophy. I would rather go heavy wide receivers. I'm also not a big Cam Akers guy. I'm sorry that I'm the one drafting or grading the team, but I'm just not a big fan of Cam Akers. I've explained that in different videos, but I think it's a good team. However, it's just kind of against my philosophy, but I still think you're going to win. I just don't like starting a Startup. I don't like entering a league with a wide receiver room that looks like that. So I'm going to give this a B flat, just a B flat. Good team, but it's just a difference of philosophy there.
Yeah. Stump. Herbie, Mac Jones, Kenny Pickett with Matt Ryan, CeeDee Lamb, DK, Traylon, Olave, Kadarius Toney, Van Jefferson. I like that wide receiver room. Then you got your running backs with Aaron Jones, Kyron Williams, Zamir White, and Damian Pierce. I think that's a downfall. You know, is these running backs. Aaron Jones getting Aaron Rodgers back, that helps. Kyron Williams in the 10th could be a good value, but maybe we could have switched it up. Maybe instead of getting Olave there, maybe you take a Michael Carter, maybe you take a Damian, maybe you
I
take
prefer
a
Olave.
yeah, it just really depends on how you feel. Those things like that. Same thing with Kenny Pickett. Maybe you take Mitchell. Maybe you take Nick Chubb, and then you can get another quarterback at the end. Because you have 4 quarterbacks here.
Right.
I think three quarterbacks is good, but I understand maybe why you did that. Maybe you can trade one of these guys and get a running back. You have Cole Kmet as your tight end. This team's all right for me. Once again, those are just nitpicking on little things that maybe we would have done differently. I like the team though, good foundations with the quarterback and the wide receivers. And maybe you are a guy that likes to trade for running backs later on in your leagues. So I give this team a B flat. I think it's a good team. I just would rather have more solidified running backs if I could.
Yep.
If you could.
All right, Pookie. We got Watson. And then Mayfield, Strong, and Mariota. I mean, in the 15th round, I'm okay with Mariota. I don't love this quarterback room outside of Watson, though. I mean, let's actually talk about this. What if Watson is suspended for the entire year? Who are you starting at quarterback? Mariota is really maybe your only starter if he's the starter.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be interesting for the first year. Running backs are Breece Hall, J.K. Dobbins, Josh Jacobs, Zeke, Clyde. Wide receivers are Adams, Ridley, Sutton, Kirk, Lockett, and tight end is Kittle. So what I'm trying to figure out is just it feels like the positional players are win now, but we don't have the secondary quarterbacks, and we don't know how long Watson's going to be suspended. So it's a little bit difficult because I'm not sure that you have the right players to be win now, if that makes sense. Like your running backs look great for a win now team. And I also love Dobbins. I love Breece. Wide receiver wise, after Adams, Sutton is going to be good. Kirk, I'm not a big believer in Kirk. I'm sorry, guys. Lockett. But Ridley's going to be suspended for a year. So, I'm not saying that you're not going to make the playoffs or anything because you could figure a way in with this team. However, you won't have Watson for a period of time. You won't have Ridley for the entire year. Mayfield's not a starter. Strong probably won't be a starter. Mariota is most likely the starter unless they do. What if they go Malik Willis? It's hard to say exactly what that situation looks like. So there's a lot of question marks here. And I think, again, like if I am doing a win now strategy, why not take a guy like Lamar or Joe Burrow or Murray and just know that you're going to have them for this first year. So I like the team. There's a couple things I would have done differently. And also if the aim is win now, maybe get a more solidified quarterback too a little bit earlier in the draft. So yeah, I'm trying to look like even Kirk Cousins instead of Zeke. Like you could have got Kirk Cousins at the 7-4 to kind of lock up that quarterback room a little bit more.
Right.
I mean, Zeke is your 4th running back on your team. You definitely need better depth there at quarterback earlier. So I'm going to give this just a B flat again. A couple things that I would have done differently.
Okay. Sparring kick. Excuse me. Lamar Jackson, Matthew Stafford, Mitch Trubisky. Fantastic. I love it. A.J. Brown, Deontay Johnson, DeAndre Hopkins, Rashad Bateman, and Sky Moore with, a guy that snuck in with great value there in the 14th is Kenny Golladay. Something special is happening there, I'll tell you that much. Kenneth Walker, David Montgomery, James Conner, Devin Singletary with Noah Fant and Zach Ertz. I like this team. I think that once again, another thing maybe I would have done differently. I understand, Kenneth Walker was there. I probably would have taken a chance on Travis Etienne. He went down at the 5A. I would have taken him. I like that options. Same thing with Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs has been rising in boards. I would have taken Monty at the 5-5 potentially, and then Josh Jacobs at the 6-9, at the 6-8, excuse me. Things like that I would have changed just I guess to solidify that. We don't know how these running backs and where these guys are going to go. But I love James Conner at the 9-5 as well. 3-year contract extension. If he can stay healthy and continue to do those things, I think that's great value for James Conner. Maybe he should be going a lot earlier. We don't know yet. I'd like to have that conversation. Let me ask you a question. James Conner or Miles Sanders? I know this is random.
Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, that's hard.
I do think I do lean Connor.
Yeah, that's a crazy conversation. Anyway, it's just a thought process.
It is a really difficult one to project. Because if I look at the next 3 years, I feel like, and running backs are so difficult to predict each year after each year. So I actually have them back to back my rankings. Connor 24, Miles Sanders 25. So I do prefer Connor.
Yeah, obviously people like to go youth or whatever the case may be, but Miles Sanders might not even be on that team after this year. Anyways, DeAndre Hopkins at the 7-5, another great value. I like that there. Maybe I would have gone younger. Just nitpicking. Once again, just nitpicking. I probably would have gone younger here once again because I do think your team is fairly young besides Matthew Stafford and James Conner. So if I would have had to switch DeAndre Hopkins and continue young with these young running backs, but iffy, and young wide receivers, I probably would have taken a shot on Hollywood Brown. I would have taken a shot maybe on Amari Cooper, even though he's not that much younger. But I really like this team. I think there's great value there. Noah Fant there at the 10-8, and then Zach Ertz at the 15-5, who also signs if I'm not mistaken, 2-year contract extension. I could be wrong. B+. I like it.
Okay. B+.
B+.
All right. Savcon, we got Kyler Murray, Daniel Jones, Jared Goff.
Garrett. You didn't do Garrett.
What the heck? I thought you were doing Garrett the whole time.
No, I did Spartan King.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm an idiot. Let's all agree. Just put idiot in the chat right now and send it. It's all good. Jarrett, we have
Garrett with the hacks.
Joe Burrow, Russell Wilson. Garrett, we're gonna have to limit you per week on how many mocks you can get into. Burrow, Wilson. That's just a joke, by the way. Jordan Love. Oh God, you're speaking my language here, bro. You are speaking my language.
As Garrett with the hacks, he knows exactly what we love
Higgins,
and who we love.
Elijah Moore, Michael Pittman, Devonta Smith. And then we got the RBs late with Carter, Sanders, Dillon, Penny.
You know what?
Oh my God, he's speaking my language here.
You should have taken James Conner over.
I will say, there are players I would have taken over Sanders. I do have to admit that, including James Conner. Michael Carter here. I even consider maybe someone over Michael Carter, but I think there's enough depth there at the running back position. And you did RBs late really well. You took a risk on a rookie tight end that we love, but you also backed it up with another upside tight end.
Albert, are you okay?
And then you got Jordan Love. I love this team. Now, I think you can make a case for DJ Moore over Elijah. Diggs over Elijah. You can make these cases. You can make these claims. I love this team, man. I'm going to give this an A. I've never given out an A. I've always given out A minuses. This is an A team. Wow. This is an A team. Solid at quarterback. Solid at wide receiver. There's enough running back depth there for me. I like the upside at tight end. You didn't spend early. This is beautiful. Mwah. Chef's kiss. Beautifully done. The only thing I might have done differently, though, Jacoby. I feel like his upside is going to be limited after this year because I think they're going to bring in a wide receiver.
That's sad for Jacoby. I like Jacoby.
But this is beautiful. This is beautiful, guys. I love it. This is my favorite team for sure.
All right. Savcon, Kyler Murray, Danny Dimes. Great value, first of all.
Kyler Murray, Daniel Jones, Jared Goff. Then you got DeAndre Swift, Antonio Gibson, Say, Tony Pollard, James Robinson, Mark Andrews, Mike Gesicki, and Irv Smith. Then your wide receivers are Diggs, Amari Cooper, Michael Thomas, Josh Palmer. One thing I would say Zach would probably agree with me is that we wouldn't have taken Michael Thomas at the A6. We understand it. The quarterback is Jameson. I don't want anything to deal with Michael Thomas and those injuries. I don't think he's going to come back and be the same. I definitely would have taken Rashad Bateman over him. I definitely would have taken Kadarius Toney over him. Those guys were available to you. A George Pickens, I would have taken. All those guys, I think in the round after, I probably would have taken over Michael Thomas, even Allen Robinson over Michael Thomas. That's just our thought process. For your running backs, I like everything you did here. You had your 2 running backs in Swift and Gibson, and then you take a chance with Say. Hopefully he bounces back. Tony Pollard should be getting a lot more work coming into this season, which it feels like it's going to be a 50-50 work backfield, but we just don't know. We got to wait and see what that looks like. And James Robinson as your RB 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's good. So I guess the only downfall here is your wide receivers, I feel, because if you would have solidified the wide receiver 3, I would have been a lot more happier with this team. And I like Josh Palmer. Kind of sucks that they re-signed Mike Williams, but at the 14-6, I think it's great value. And another thing I would have changed as well is I probably wouldn't have taken Irv Smith. We're not Irv Smith believers. I would have taken another chance on somebody else. Who was available. The Donovan People-Jones was available. Cordell Patterson, if you wanted to take a chance on that. I'm not an Irv Smith believer. I don't think he's going to be fantasy relevant in the near future. He could be, but at this very moment, I just don't see that happening. Overall, I think this team is a B minus, B plus.
Okay.
Good foundational pieces, just those little things.
All right. My ball, Zach Ertz. Just going to let that one soak for a sec. My ball, Zach Ertz. I have a problem. I need to see someone. Dak Prescott, Derek Carr, Tom Brady, the GOAT. We got Coopy Cup, Keenan Allen, Allen Robinson, Michael Gallup, OBJ. All right. So we got definitely a win now team here. Running backs are Cook, Henry, Spiller, Hunt, Madison. Kelsey is the tight end. And we also have Njoku. So, for me with Cooper Kupp, I could not take him this high. Now, I understand what Cooper Kupp just did, guys. I 100% understand what he just did. I understand that he's connected to Matthew Stafford. But I would not be spending this high capital on Cooper Kupp. I understand why others would. I'm not saying that you're wrong, but there are other wide receivers on the board. I would like to invest in Dynasty longer term, and we have a buy or sell on Cooper Kupp on our page if you want to see some more info there. And then also, I don't know, Badaki, let me know if I'm incorrect. I'm not sure that Cook or Henry, they typically you don't have to take them this early. And maybe that's just our community. And maybe we're reading that wrong, but I'm only going to judge it based off of the players here, the team that you put together. As a win-now team, this is a very good win-now team. Quarterback-wise, you're set. You're absolutely solid to win this year and next year. Running back-wise, I would say the same. There's definitely enough depth there. I do question the longevity of, really Henry more than Cook with the amount of work that he's already gotten in the NFL. And then our wide receiver room, is old. It's an older wide receiver room. There's not any youth coming through this team. So here's what I'll say. If the goal was to win now, you've got a really good chance to do that. I think there's other teams that could potentially challenge you this year, but you are potentially sacrificing that future. And I wonder what this team will look like in 3 years is what I'm saying. So as a win now team, this is a good B plus team. It is a good team. Okay. But again, there's not really a young piece I can point to on this team. Honestly, let's look at it. Isaiah Spiller. I'm not a big Spiller guy, but you can take him at the 8-4. there's not a young piece that I can really point to. So that's my only issue with it. And I get it. If the goal was to win now, I think you've done pretty well.
Yeah. Okay. Zach at the 110. Jonathan Taylor with Brian Robinson. That's a downfall right there. I'll tell you that much. No RB2, no running back depth. That's a huge problem. Then you go to your quarterbacks where you have 2, 4, 5 quarterbacks. He did go very, very young with Trey Lance, Malik Willis, Matt Corral, Sam Howell, Davis Mills. And we spoke about this during the live stream. We were saying, do we take, is Trey Lance worth taking this high? There's so many Trey Lance believers. I would have taken Justin Fields, Russell Wilson, and for me, probably even Matthew Stafford and Trevor Lawrence potentially, just depending on where you can get these guys. Yeah, that's what I would have done. Malik Willis, the expectation he's going to go to one of these top 8, top 5 teams, and I think he could. And once we know his team, he could go as high as this 310 or probably even higher. Who knows? So I think that's okay. So I'm not gonna, dog you on that. But I think what hurts you is that I probably wouldn't have taken Matt Corral or Sam Howell. I would have taken Davis Mills, and then I would have taken other positional players where you took a Matt and Sam Howell. You could have taken running backs here, and I think that's the biggest fault. You could have got Lenny at the 710. You could have got Miles Sanders. All these running backs that went literally the round after, besides Isaiah Spiller, you could have had at the 7th, and that could have changed your team tremendously. And then you go to your wide receivers: Garrett Wilson, Drake London, Brandon Ayuk, Jahan Dotson, Brandon Cooks, John Mechie, Jalen Tolbert. I love Garrett Wilson. My wide receiver 1, Drake London, is expected to be this massive guy in the league. I like Brandon Ayuk at the 8-3, so that's okay. And Jahan Dotson, who we both like and we both believe in. All depends on landing spots. So you can't really talk much about them once we know landing spots. Maybe this is great value for these guys. So that's okay. And then TJ Hawkinson at the 6-3. For me, my biggest concern is the RB room in the court, that you just took too many quarterbacks and could have got other positional values there. So I'm gonna give this team a C plus, purely just because you have Jonathan Taylor and Trey Lance. Maybe B minus. I feel like C plus is a little bit
that's
too
kind of
harsh.
harsh.
A little bit too harsh, but like B minus, just because of you just need some running backs. Maybe you can trade one of these quarterbacks away and then maybe get a running back. But
I guess there is quite a bit of uncertainty. I feel like a B flat feels fair, but because there is good players on this team, but
yeah, there are 100%. There are good players, and I think like you have foundation
there's
pieces.
so much uncertainty though, isn't there?
Yeah, and I think that's why it's so hard to grade a team like this, because we just don't know.
Yeah,
After
it's
the
almost
draft,
like we're taking the upside on every pick.
Yeah, and I think after
Except
the
for
NFL
JT.
draft, once we have these team spots, you'd be like, you know what? Yeah, like this is a good team. This is a B plus.
Totally.
This is A minus. Whatever the case may be. Right now, it's just so many uncertainties that we just don't know that it's really just hard to grade a team with rookies.
All right, Larry.
rookies.
We got Justin Jefferson, Terry McLaurin, Hunter Renfrow, Christian Watson, Wandale Robinson, Justin Ross. Running backs are. I like the wide receiver room. Let me just quickly address Hunter Renfrow, though. This is way too early to draft Hunter Renfrow now. In my opinion, Hunter Renfrow shouldn't be seeing the draft boards until the 11th round, 10th, 11th round at this point. With Devontae Adams coming in, again, we've said this, like, how did Renfrow really shine in the NFL? What did he live off of? Target share. He's not going to be highly targeted with Devontae Adams there.
That's just so sad, like trade Hunter Renfrow.
No, because
Trade him away.
Honestly,
He's a good wide receiver
he is
too,
a good wide receiver, but he's not the alpha on a team. So
and that's sad though, because like we saw the alpha moment this year. I was like, wow, this is actually possible.
Right.
And then it was just ripped underneath him, and it like ripped
I think
away from him.
He was definitely playing. He was punching above his weight for sure.
100%.
But yeah, in the 8th round, for me it's far too early. There's a lot of wide receivers that were still on the board that I think have a much brighter future. So Renfrow, I view him as a wide receiver 4 or 5 now with this Devontae Adams move, and it's not like Adams is in for a year. Adams is there for 5 years. And Hunter
Yeah.
Renfrow isn't a 22-year-old guy. You know, he's 26, 27 soon. So I think his ceiling now is a top 30 finish. So I'm looking for someone else who has maybe a higher ceiling here. Anyway, the running backs, I love the running backs. Williams, Eckler, Rashad, and Algier. I'm not a big Jalen Hurts guy, but again, I think everyone in the chat is going to say that that's value there at the 312, so I'll give you that. Kirk Cousins at the 712, I feel like is good value. Jimmy G at the 1312. I don't know where to draft Jimmy G anyway. I don't know because
I think he should be drafted though.
I think he should be
because
drafted. I agree. I'm just saying
how-
if they go
Sorry,
Trey
continue.
Lance, which would make sense, like let's move on to the next part of our franchise. Jimmy G's not a starter anywhere. Like he would be a backup or I don't know, but you know,
I think
he's not old, very old. So, you know, I'm still saying you draft him. I'm just saying I don't know where to draft him.
right, and I think a good conversation to have is like if these young quarterbacks go to a team where they are going to be starters and he could be a backup. I don't think might as well keep him on your team because you guys now they don't have a backup.
Yeah.
You know, like it's probably best that they keep him, which will suck for your Trey Lance owners, but we'll see.
Well, we'll see. Tight ends are Waller, Schultz. So I like this team. Quarterback room is good. You know, these aren't guys I don't love building around Hurts. You guys know that by now. Kirk Cousins is an ideal quarterback too. If you don't get, you know, two elite ones at the top. Love the Jefferson pick. If you could start, like I have the 12 in one of our follower Dynasty startups. If I can get Justin Jefferson at the 12, I'm feeling like king of the mountain at that point. So, I mean, that's amazing that he fell to you there. I love the McLaurin, excuse me.
McLaren. I mean, if you watch F1, let me know how you feel about the race.
So I'm gonna give this a B minus. I do like this team, but I'm not in love with your quarterbacks. I'm not in love with the wide receivers 3, 4 on this team. And I'm not saying that Waller was drafted too early, but I think he does become a little bit less valuable with Davante Adams on the team. And Davante Adams is there for 5 years. So I do think that we should maybe consider Hawkinson over Darren Waller at this point. So
It's going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting.
I'm not saying there's a wrong answer there, but
There's a lot of
who
target
does that end up making mock drafter of the night then?
So at the moment we have Garrett with an A and then Raveners at with an A minus.
Right.
So we can do I think obviously it's Garrett, but that's just thought process because I gave team 1 an A minus.
Okay. Well, I gave Garrett an A, so I'm gonna say he's a mock drafter of the night then.
Congratulations, brother! As always, Garrett with the hacks. If you know what we love, I think it's really easy.
You can get a good grade from us if you know what we love.
And that sounds terrible, but like, hey, we try to be as honest as possible. These are just our thought processes.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't mean that we're black and white. Or
100%.
You know what I'm trying to say? Like,
Garrett
our
could have a
opinions are
shit
black
team.
and white.
His team could be shit coming to the season. You just never know.
Yeah.
You know? So, we'll see.
But, hey, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Trippy gave us grades. He said Zach's team. So he gave me an A or an A minus. RBs aren't my favorite. Wide receivers are great, as well as the quarterbacks, although things could fall through with those young QBs. I agree, man. There's the quarterback room, definitely question marks. I'm not going to disagree with you there.
Let's see.
Ideally, that's what's so hard about being at the 1-8. Ideally, I would love to grab one of these top quarterbacks. He loved my wide receivers. He said my running backs weren't his favorite. And then he gave you a grade.
Yeah, I see it here. He says, Badaki team equals B. Running backs are great. QBs are good, but definitely a big risk. Wide receiver depth is good, but would prefer a wide receiver earlier. Absolutely. And that was the thing I said. I should have taken Justin Jefferson right when I took Najee. I was like, damn, I should have took Jefferson.
Yeah. Instant regret.
Yeah, and that's okay. And this is why we mock. So now I can have that feeling maybe. But at the same time, I don't think Jefferson is going to fall to me at the 112. Like,
Yeah.
it's crazy. So I just got to wait and see how the board falls.
Yep.
That's everything, huh? Going to sit out a few so you guys can get others in. All good, Garrett. Hey, we appreciate you.
For sure.
You're more than welcome to come in at any time. I know you got the hacks anyway, so just don't tell nobody. Maybe tell people how you do it. You know?
Yeah. I just like, I know at the beginning of this stream, there's a little bit of like maybe an awkward moment. I don't know. Like, I don't know exactly what to call it. With someone calling our Patreon a scam. I think the reason I get so passionate about that is because Badaki, you and I, for almost 2 years now, we lost our jobs in, COVID, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I think for almost 2 years now, you and I have spent around 60 hours every week building this community and building our platform. So if someone that we don't know jumps on a stream and calls it a scam, that instantly pulls right at my, like that gets me straight in my heart where I actually feel disrespected. So I hope that I hope that you guys can understand where we're coming from. And I don't think that I crossed any lines with what I said. I just always like leaving the stream in a really good place so we're all on the same page. That word like scam is so frustrating. Like to know that there are actually people around the world who their job is to scam people, and to place us in that group is extremely upsetting for me. So I just want to make sure that we're on the same page. And again, if anyone out there is interested in our leagues, we always encourage you to reach out with any questions. And I do believe, Badaki, that we can easily sit here and without like any question say that we've been above board, we've been transparent, and that we've been as open and honest about these leagues as possible. And the fact that there are so many of you who have supported us in that way, genuinely, every time we get a notification that someone signed up to Patreon, we've been like, this is like seriously so excited. Every time, like we text each other like, let's go. Like it's just always so exciting for us that someone would believe in what we're doing this much to support us in that way. And we don't take it lightly, the fact that people do support us like that. So I just want to say I appreciate all of you guys who have been a part of our leagues, who have believed in us. And honestly, something that I struggle with, I don't know why I'm always so vulnerable with you guys. I feel like I'm more vulnerable with this stream than anyone else in my life for some reason, but except for my wife. But anyway, I don't even remember what I was going to say it now.
Yeah, how you're being vulnerable. Yeah, no, just to kind of continue on that, it's just I appreciate everyone in the stream, I saw everyone like kind of backing it up, people that are already part of the Patreon, and the 100 trumps the one. So, and I think that's okay. And we build a good community here. We have a lot of genuine people, I guess, to encourage you in a weird way. It's like there's so many people around us that are in the chat now that I think, like if you just read it, that's crazy that we've never met any of these people, and that one guy can like, come through. So
bro,
just
I need to take people's words less seriously, because I think for me it's like someone can comment on one of our takes and disagree with it, and I won't be upset, but I'll try and defend why I think the way I think. But then if someone just comes out and says that like our business is a scam, that just ignites something in me where I'm like,
nah, for sure.
Like that is a point where I just can't accept it. So
nah, I agree, and I'm the opposite. I'm like, oh, you think it's a scam? You can leave now. Like, thanks for coming. Like,
but anytime someone says something negative about like our channel or anything, but he's like, bro, I don't care. And if someone says something negative, I'm like, I'm about to go
like,
fucking ham on this
like,
guy.
you actually like so passionate. Like for people that like, sometimes I'd be like, you know what, man? Like, actually start your channel. Like, you actually are so much better than us. That just start your channel. See what you can do. Build a community. Like.
And they should. They genuinely should. I mean, if anyone can like have this sort of community that we have, it's like the biggest blessing ever. So
yeah.
And
but all love for everyone that came through and supported, and that always comes through. And like everyone see, Stump, Jay, Garrett, Quote, Trippy. I don't know if I met Nathan. I see you there as well. Everyone that's there, like it's all love.
Like we've never met them, but I also feel like these people are so important in our community.
Mm-hmm.
So guys, thank you so much. And tomorrow we have a stream. It will be at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will be doing a rookie only draft. And I want to ask the chat, there's about 20 people in here right now. I just want to ask you, on the Thursday night stream, should we do a NFL mock draft? And maybe I'll put this in the Discord. Should we do an NFL mock draft? Or should we, like, where we vote on each pick as a community, or should we do a Dynasty startup? You know, I think people are really loving the startups, but I guess maybe that's better to put in Discord, Badaki.
Yeah, I'm happy either way. I think what you should do right before the NFL draft is do a mock draft, like so it's fresh in people's minds, like the night before, because I will be away, but you should do that the night before, and then you can kind of reference, okay, this is who we had. You could talk with the community, like, hey, you know, we had this guy going here, and you're like, you know, obviously it's gonna change, and maybe see how many you can hit in the first round. That'll be kind of cool.
Yeah, that would be fun. There'll be so many mocks to come, but. All right, guys. Jeremy.
Long Lake Mustang, thank you for signing up for Patreon, brother. We really appreciate you.
Yeah.
You're in there.
And we got you all set up on Discord, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Jeremy, one quarterback league with the unknowns of Lance. Would you trade the 112, a late second 2023, and a late third for Dak? Would you trade the 112, late second in 23 and a late third in 23 for Dak in a one quarterback league? And how big is this league, Jeremy? Is this a 12 or is this a 10-man league? Because I think that does impact the answer for me. I'm looking at Dak Prescott, and if I consider him in a one quarterback league,
12-team league.
How many?
12-team. I think I would be
hard,
interested. I would be interested in taking Dak Prescott. I would try to renegotiate and maybe take out that second. You know, I don't know.
I'm not sure that it should take that much in a one quarterback league.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like the 112, I think Trey Lance in the 112, I feel like that's fine potentially. That might even be too much.
No. You're not. He's not moving Trey Lance in the 112. That would be extreme overpay. What he's asking is 112, a second, a third for Dak. For me, I don't think it should take that much for Dak in a one quarterback league.
Trey Lance. Right. Okay, that makes
sense. So I would say no. And honestly, in a one quarterback league, if you have the 112, you could probably grab one of these quarterbacks there anyway. I mean, in a one quarterback league, they'll definitely be available there, one of these guys. So I don't think I would do that personally. I think it's going to be Lance. I truly do think it's going to be Lance starting for San Francisco this year.
Next minute, Jimmy G.
Imagine. All right, guys. Huge love.
We'll see.
Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you tomorrow night.
How many people? Yeah, I'm about to say how many people we have.
We'll have to figure that out after the stream.
I was gonna say, just to let you guys know, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
one
6,
spot
7,
left,
8.
if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, potentially one spot left in the latest league. So if you're in here and you want to join Patreon, patreon.com/FantasylandFam, and join our Dynasty League, I think there's one more spot in our most recent draft, our most recent Dynasty startup. We need to double check that, but we'll let you guys know.
Yep.
All love.
Mm-hmm. All right, guys. Bye. Have a good night.
Deuce.